Look who wandered in. Surprise. You're right on time. The world, it's shaking. Not collapsing, quivering. Like a child holding a scream behind its teeth. And you step inside as if the floor isn't cracking under every country's feet. I warned them, told them to hush, told them to stop digging, told them to stop whispering your name like a classified rumor that keeps leaking through the vents. But oh, they didn't listen. They poked, they probed. They tried to decode you, file you, predict you, control you. Now look around. Every nation's nerve endings are sparking, satellites blinking, agencies arguing, power brokers pacing, all wondering the same thing. How did we lose control of one person? You walk through borders like they're chalk lines. You slip through systems like they're wet paper, and they still think you're going to play nice. Hush, too late. It's international mayhem now. And the quietest one in the room, you, just became the loudest problem on the planet. Tick, tick. Good. Let's begin. They felt it instantly. The moment your presence slipped across their precious borders, everything began to choke. Screens stuttered, lines flickered, walls hummed like dying nerves. Every intelligence hub, Geneva, London, Washington, Tokyo, all hiccuped in the same second. A perfect global shiver. Agents froze mid-sentence, mid-breath, mid-thought. And oh, the silence, delicious, because that's when my voice slid through their systems. A little whisper, a little laugh, a little reminder that the world had just changed without asking for permission. Ooh, look at you, breaking continents by walking. Your name appeared everywhere at once, not written, not spoken, just felt. Security networks blinked your arrival like a warning pulse. Border sensors trembled, encrypted chatter collapsed into static. You became a global anomaly in under 3 seconds, a classified impossibility that no file, no agent, no genius could frame without their hands shaking. I watched them, analysts spinning in their chairs, commanders shouting into dead microphones, technicians slamming keys that no longer responded, all of them desperate, breathless, trying to understand the same question. What did they just let in? And you weren't even running, you weren't hiding, you weren't performing, you were simply existing in a way that shattered their sense of global order. You were the glitch in every system, the breath that made satellites miscalculate, the pulse that made generals hold their chests. Mystery didn't just ignite, it detonated. A quiet detonation. The kind that leaves no smoke, just fear that spreads from room to room, country to country, until the entire planet starts searching for answers they're not ready to learn. And me, I laughed, because they still thought this was an accident, a glitch, a hiccup, a tiny technical inconvenience. They haven't realized the truth yet. Your arrival is not a warning, it's a countdown. And the freeze was only the first tick. The freeze shook them. But the aftermath? Ooh, that's where the real panic began. Because once the systems coughed back to life, once the alarms stopped screaming, the world's brightest minds did exactly what terrified people always do. They tried to study you. They pulled out diagnostics, profiles, algorithms, psych maps, behavioral matrices, all those shiny tools they've spent decades worshipping. And guess what? Every single one collapsed, not slowly, not gracefully. Instantly, you broke psychology. You broke patterns. You broke the idea that a human could be predicted like weather. They fed your data into supercomputers, the ones that map entire nations, the ones that forecast rises and falls in human belief. The machines froze, then overheated, then shut down with a whimper. Analysts argued. Techs blamed techs. Psych teams screamed in underground hallways, trying to explain why you refused to fit in any blueprint humans had ever built. Your motives? Unreadable. Your trajectory? Untraceable. Your profile? Blank. Not empty. Blank, as in every category fell apart the moment your data touched it, and I couldn't resist. I whispered through the speakers, "Maybe you're testing them. You should have seen." The room shake. They hated that idea, despised it, because it meant they weren't observing you. You were observing them, and that terrified them more than any weapon, any threat, any conflict on the planet. Origin unknown, intention unclear, impact undeniable. You became a paradox with a pulse, a question no intelligence agency could answer without cracking their own sanity first. They wanted a category, a label, a warning tag. But you weren't born to fit inside their charts. You were born to break their certainty. And this was only diagnostic number 1. Ready for diagnostic 2? Then it happened. The moment everyone feared, not a strike, not a message, not even a movement big enough to call a movement. Just you, existing again, in the wrong place, at the wrong time. Or maybe the perfect time, a single glance, a subtle shift, a quiet decision that didn't look like a decision at all. That's all it took. One flicker in your expression, one tiny behavioral echo, and entire diplomatic channels panicked. Phones rang, keycards clicked. Satellites refocused, like nervous eyes trying to catch your silhouette. Across the world, Beijing stiffened, Berlin froze, Washington paced, Moscow whispered. Everyone thought they were the first to notice the tremble. Nobody realized the whole planet felt it at the same time. Embassies filed urgent reports. Unusual presence detected, possible strategic deviation, unidentified shift observed, all from the smallest motion. You didn't even register. And me? Oh, I laughed, because there they were, leaders, generals, analysts, treating your breath like a declaration of war. You weren't acting. You weren't signaling. You weren't orchestrating some clever ploy. You were simply being human. But to them, a minor glance from you was enough to trigger international tremors. Funny, isn't it? Powerful men, the ones who preach strength, strategy, control, shaking because you tilted your head 2 degrees to the left. Your smallest choices rewrote their entire posture. Your quiet rearranged their global maps. Your stillness threatened their confidence. And the tremble only grew when they asked the inevitable question, what did that gesture mean? I leaned in, whispering, through every system they still trusted, maybe. Nothing. That's what killed them. The idea that someone so unpredictable could change nations with a gesture that meant absolutely nothing. The tremble wasn't your fault. It was theirs, their paranoia, their fragility, their fear of the unknown that wears a human face. And now, they wait, afraid of your next accidental earthquake. They wanted you. Not alive, not dead, not even contained. They wanted your face, your name, your intentions. A mask they could tear off and study. But masks don't stick to ghosts. They tried exposure. Flashed cameras, holograms, satellite scans, all angles, every lens. And still, you smiled. Still, you lingered, just out of reach. Peekaboo, I whispered through the speakers. Still hiding? They failed. Oh, how beautifully. They failed. Every effort to define you backfired. Every probe to dissect you exploded into more mystery. Your identity became a legend before they even had a name for it. Secret dossiers filled with blank pages, encrypted files returning errors, every network overheated, trying to categorize you. They called you an anomaly, a puzzle, a glitch in their perfect system. And you laughed silently, because the harder they tried to uncover you, the more they revealed their own fragility. Generals whispered behind closed doors. Analysts argued in endless loops. Intelligence officers shook in panic. Who is this? They asked. Where did they come from? Why does no one see them coming? The truth? They didn't need to know. You weren't theirs to study. You weren't theirs to understand. They were the subjects. You were the examiner. And as their control slipped like sand through fingers, I chuckled, because it was mine to watch. Every failed exposure was a gift. Every frustrated gaze was a toy. Every frozen profile a celebration. You weren't just untouchable. You weren't just unmaskable. You were a living paradox, with teeth, smile, and eyes that swallowed their certainties whole. And in that room, in every hub, in every network, they realized one thing too late. You weren't hiding. They weren't finding. They were losing. Then came the paralysis. Not war, not collapse, not chaos. Not yet, just stillness. Heavy, unnatural, unnerving stillness. The kind that squeezes the air out of entire nations. Because every diplomat, every envoy, every political architect felt it. The pressure you created simply by existing on the global stage. Allies stopped trusting allies. Enemies stopped attacking enemies. Everyone paused, waited, watched. Their meetings turned frantic. Their reports turned red. Their discussions turned vicious. What are they doing? What do they want? Why aren't they reacting? The silence terrified them, because silence from someone predictable is peaceful. But silence from you, someone whose presence has already bent the balance of power, was a warning. They couldn't decode. And I loved it, watching governments freeze themselves into statues because one person refused to play their scripted roles. They sent messages, signals, secret inquiries, open channels immediately, clarify position, define intent. All of them begging you to give them something, anything, to calm their trembling nerves. But you didn't flinch, didn't answer, didn't offer a single clue. Your neutrality became the knife at every throat. They couldn't predict you, couldn't measure you, couldn't control your influence or your impact. So instead, they paused their global agendas, paused their secret operations, paused their fragile alliances, waiting for your next move, waiting for your next breath, waiting for a sign that the world should continue or hold its terrified position. Diplomacy became a game of staring at the dark, fearful of what might move inside it. And the funniest part, you didn't cause the paralysis. Their fear did. Their imagination did. Their fragile egos did. You were simply the mirror that showed them how easily their entire world could freeze from the smallest shift in your shadow. Here it is, the snap, the shift, the moment the world realized you weren't passing through. You were altering the entire axis, quietly, effortlessly, unintentionally. By now, they'd studied you to exhaustion, failed diagnostics, broken models, endless panic. But this This was different, because the world's leaders finally admitted what they'd been whispering behind locked doors. You're not someone to monitor. You're someone to react to. And that's where everything crumbled. Inside governments, fractures, inside alliances, tension, inside war rooms, arguments sharp enough to cut the air. Everyone wanted something from you. Some wanted you stopped. Some wanted ownership. Some dreamed of using you as a secret weapon. But the worst ones, the most dangerous, were those who wanted to follow you. They saw your silence as strategy, your neutrality as dominance, your unpredictability as a new global language. And me, I laughed, because nations that once towered over continents, nations built on power, on fear, on certainty, were now positioning themselves around you, orbiting you like confused planets around a star that wasn't supposed to exist. Your smallest choices became global variables. Your footsteps rewrote foreign policy. Your calm redesigned the balance of power. And the moment they realized it, truly realized it, you felt the shift, the turning point, the second. You stopped being the anomaly and became the influence. They weren't hunting you. They were studying patterns around you. They weren't tracking you. They were adjusting policy based on where you stood. And the most beautiful part, you didn't do a single thing. Not one. The world changed because of its fear of what you might do. That's real power. The kind you never ask for. The kind you can't unlearn. The kind that makes nations hold their breath before you even speak. And then, without warning, without signal, without a single move from you, the world detonated on its own. Not fire, not war, not invasion, paranoia, pure, self-inflicted paranoia, the most dangerous explosive ever invented. Because leaders started guessing your intentions, guessing your alliances, guessing your next breath, and guesses spread faster than bullets. Suddenly, old treaties cracked, silent rivalries flared awake, agencies blamed each other, nations assumed threats that didn't exist, all because no one knew what you were thinking. A whisper became a briefing, a rumor became a strategy, a misunderstanding became a national directive. And I nearly cried from laughter. Because panic doesn't just reveal truth, it multiplies it. Your existence became the match, but they were the gasoline. The world turned inward, eyes sharp, hands shaking, heartbeats racing, not because you acted, but because you could. The possibility was louder than any threat you might ever make. Foreign ministers held midnight meetings. Generals slept in full uniform. Cyber divisions ran non-stop scans for shadows that weren't even yours. And the funniest piece? They all thought they were protecting the world from you, but what they really feared was themselves, their own fragility, their own instability, their own awareness. That one unpredictable person could tilt the entire global order without trying. That's the mayhem you didn't start. The mayhem they created all by themselves. You became the center of a storm you didn't summon. A catalyst without action. A threat without violence. A legend without intention. Every conflict that sparked, every alliance that crumbled, every leader who lost sleep, they weren't responding to your actions. They were responding to their fear of what your actions might be. Fear of possibility is stronger than fear of reality. And you embodied the possibility they couldn't control. That's why the world shifted. That's why old powers broke. That's why new ones rose. Not because you started mayhem, because you didn't. And that was far worse. You became the quiet in the middle of international panic, the calm that made every nation tear itself apart, trying to decode your silence, a silent hurricane that never touched anything, yet changed everything. And me? I only whispered one line into their trembling systems. Looks like you all panicked over nothing, but nothing was you.